Hi guys, welcome to the Upgrad Digital Transformation webinar. Thank you for joining us, those who are joining live, those who are watching this as a recording. We've got a really interesting 45 minutes to an hour or so packed in, loads of information to get across about digital transformation, the concept, the value that it adds in today's business world. My name is Tom Atkinson. I am the Vice President of Sales and Partnerships, so all things growth in the EMEA region. And I'm joined, luckily today for everyone, by Shadi Ramadan, who is Head of Product at Aster DM Healthcare. Shadi, how are you?
Hi, Tom. Thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure to be part of Upgrade webinar series.
No, thank you. We're the lucky ones to have you, and thanks for lending your time to this. Guys, as we're just waiting for a few more people to join live, please feel free to fill in the poll, which should be coming up on your screen shortly. If it isn't there, then let us know. But also, if you get a chance, any questions as we go through the webinar, feel free to drop any down in the chat or in the Q&A box. Formal questions about what we're talking about, please try and keep those to the Q&A. If there's any observations, anything you'd like to say as we go through, any comments, put them in the chat. While you're doing the poll, and just as we're waiting for more people to join, please don't hesitate, interact with us as we go through. Anything you like, anything you don't like, let us know. We want to make sure, and this is the reason for the poll as well, that we can at some point, if we can, tailor the webinar as much as possible to those who are joining live. There's a huge amount of information to get through, so we will try and get through as many of these questions as possible. Also, while we're just onboarding, we've still got people joining, and please just chuck in the chat box your name and where you're from, and also the industry that you work in. That would be super helpful, so we can just get a bit of a feel about who is with us today. And we will start kicking off. I think that poll is just about finished. What I would like to do now is just intro a little bit about what we're looking to talk about today. We are going to talk about how digital transformation across industries has shaped the business world of today. Obviously, the last 10 years has seen an unprecedented amount of transformation across sectors, and it's all with digital transformation at the heart of that. Shadi, I'm sure you will agree. But we're also going to find out about how digital transformation has been laying the foundations for sustainable growth, both in domestic markets and international growth, and how it is essential to capitalize on market opportunities, regardless of your industry and regardless of your location. Shadi, please, can you give us a bit of an intro on yourself? Who are you? Why have you joined us today? And what's the background for you?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. It's very interesting topics, and as you mentioned, it's very critical for all organizations nowadays. So first about myself, my name is Shadi Ramadan. Actually, I'm a pharmacist, but this is long time ago. And after I worked a couple of years in pharmaceutical industry, I had my MBA in marketing. Then I moved to marketing and digital marketing more than 15 years ago. I had 2 years in automotive industry. After that, 6 years as a group product manager in Johnson & Johnson across Middle East. After that, I engaged with MoneyGram as a senior marketing manager, fintech industry, for marketing, digital and marketing manager across Middle East, India, Pakistan. After that, I have totally new experience for digital transformation in Carrefour as a head of product for customer experience for leading e-commerce in Carrefour in the last 3.5 years across 11 countries in Middle East and Pakistan. And recently, I just joined a new digital transformation initiatives in healthcare, which is very interesting one to digitalize healthcare as well with Aster DM Healthcare across Middle East and India. So this is just a brief about myself, and it is all more than 15 years in digital transformation and leading digital projects. So I'm very passionate about digital, and I'm happy to be here to give some advice and share knowledge, and as well answer any questions from the team.
Good stuff. Well, I mean, that's a rather diverse career you've got, and we'll hear a little bit about what that transformation in the business process or progress has been for you, or that career progress since your MBA. We'll cover that a little bit towards the end. And for those who are listening, I will also go into a little bit of information about the MBAs that we at Upgrad offer and a little bit more about us. But first things first, the reason we're here, digital transformation. what is digital transformation? What does it mean to you? For those that don't know, that are joining us.
Okay, so let's start by, for digital transformation is very critical nowadays. And as you know, no one denying that 2020 was a very tough year for everyone, for all the industries, and that global pandemics that came with it, and it changed everything in our way we are doing business and all the companies, but it came with a lot of opportunities and a lot of challenges as well, and learning for us. So the first thing we learned about our business and customer needs is continue to evolve, and business should work very fast and adapt any change happening. The world will keep it challenges, and will still have a lot of circumstances will come, a lot of changes were going to come, and business leaders, everyone in all industries, as you mentioned, should be ready for this, should be adapted for this fast, quick digital adaptation or technology. So in just a brief about digital transformation, digital transformation simply is the integration of digital technology into all areas of business. This is just simplistic, how to integrate digital technology in all areas of business. Fundamentally, you are changing the way the business is working for better customer value. This is in brief. So you are changing the way you're working, every aspect of the business, by integrating digital channels to improve your customer value or customer proposition. This is the way you are doing digital transformation. So the truly digital transformation companies, they are managing to completely reimagining the way an organization works, from data collection, from processes, from experiences, the kind of people hired as well. It is all aspects we'll discuss today about digital transformation. So digital transformation is a new era. It is a new must-have. It is not a question about shall we do digital transformation or not nowadays. Maybe it was 5-10 years back, but now the question has changed. It's about how to do it right, how to succeed in digital transformation. What is the knowledge? What is the information I need to know as a leader to lead this digital transformation?
Well, that was going to be my next question. And I'm glad you've ended on that point. It's not if, but how and when. Exactly. It's obviously a must-have. Now, just exploring that a little bit deeper, how essential is a solid grasp of digital transformation for business growth, regardless of what the sector is?
Okay, so as you mentioned, it's must-have right now, and it is what is expected from all the customers, to have all the companies to be digitalized and those companies to work on this digital transformation. Let me step one step back about this. And the bad news is from Boston Research is 70% of digital transformation initiatives in the last years are failed, or not failed, but not achieved the objectives of digital transformation. Still, they get some benefits from digital transformation, but not the same goals they are aiming for before go for digital transformation. And there is a lot of reason behind this failure and a lot of analysis done. And that's why you are here today, as a leader, how to lead this digital transformation, how to start this. So the main idea now in digital transformation is, it is to learn not just to have a website or an e-commerce website, or to have a new initiatives or a new digital product, which maybe you need to discontinue later at this field. It is a big idea here, how to have a proper strategy, how to have a proper thinking behind digital transformation.
So where do you start with that strategy? And I guess my question, probably a little bit more expanded, is where should businesses start with digital transformation, and what are the barriers that usually block the path to that transformation? Yeah,
that's a very interesting question. And let me have this in 3 ways. First part is, the first question you have to ask yourself is, are you ready for digital transformation or not? Do you have the right talent for digital transformation or not? Do you have this talent in-house, or do you need to have it externally from outside? Also, as a leader, you need to ask yourself about what is the main objective of your digital transformation? Why I'm doing digital transformation? So the start always, as Stephen Covey always said, that start with the end of mind. So the first point of any digital transformation strategy, what is the objective? Why I need to do digital transformation? And here, you, as a leader, you have to ask a new question, which is, what is the value of the customer to the customer for the digital transformation? Every business knows about the customer, about the satisfaction of the customer. The competition is very tough nowadays. So how the digital transformation will impact the customer, how to engage the customer more, how to add more value to the customer. So this is the first point to start your digital transformation. After this, it is not a start actually, it is a mindset before starting your digital transformation. And then the first step is the objectives. How to align the business goals and objectives with C-levels, with key leaders, with the digital team, how to align your business goals and transformation goals with everyone, with all the stakeholders, and how to build this alignment and everyone to see the value of this digital transformation. After this, and I see from my experience in the last 15 years, the most important thing after alignment of the goal and starting the project is quick wins. You have to ensure when you are building your project your project pathway, or you're planning for your project, you have to plan for early successes. How to ensure that you have an early successes and how to show this quick wins to all the organization. As of course, it was not a lot of people love it change. A lot of people are against the change in any company. This is normal. People love to work the way they used to work too. When to tell them you have to change, a lot of people will be skeptical about the change. And once you don't have this quick wins or easy success, whatever happening in the organization, they will simply say, this is going nowhere. We are not achieving any of this from this digital transformation. It is a lot of burden on us.
Yeah,
exactly. So quick wins is very, very important. I'll give you some example in the hotel industry. Hotel industry, when they started digital transformation, they started with one feature only, book your room online. This is the only feature they started the digital transformation. They didn't think about anything else. Once they did this booking your room online and start to show everyone in the organization the millions of dollars coming from booking online, how the business increased, they start thinking about the full digital transformation, like housekeeping app, like concierge app, a lot of digitalize your experience inside the hotel. A lot of initiatives come later, but they started only with one digital experience, which is book your room online, which is the first step in quick wins for this. After you achieve this, Tom, you have to think about your communication strategy. Communication is the key to get everyone aligned. You have to communicate a lot. Success of digital transformation will never happen without communication, without a lot of communication, actually. You should communicate about why you are doing this, how you are doing this, what is the value for the customer, what is the value of the employees, how to communicate wins, how to communicate milestones. All of this communication is very clear and is very critical, actually, to your business. One point I see a lot of organization messed up and missing during their journey of transformation, which is digital education. They are focusing on the digital team. They have a digital team, they hire people, they have a lot of people are talented. This department, digital transformation department and tech team working together, let's do digital transformation. And they are missing the education of all the employees inside the company. So digital education or literacy of the digital, it should be ongoing parallel with digital transformation journey. So this is the way you can manage the digital transformation, starting from, alignment of the goal, communicate, quick wins, and educate employees about this digital transformation. So this is from my point of view, how to start digital transformation, how to have the first step. Of course, there's a lot of technical issues like select the system. This is all later on can come with digital team, but the main objective of the leader or anyone in the organization with digital transformation is how to manage the expectation of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you've spoken about there so far has been focused on within a particular organization. How does that translate on the other side of the coin to what the customer experiences?
Yeah, customer experience will be highly impacted, but let me, one point I missed in the last point, which is the barriers. Barriers of digital transformation is very, very worth to mention as well, as we have a lot of barriers in the digital transformation and nothing smooth in this journey. That's why you see it's only 30% succeed on this. So one of the key barriers is the mindset. The mindset of the employees. Always enforce your engage with your employees have to know what we call beginners mindsets. Beginners mindsets, try and learn. It's something always new you have to try. And always some of the barrier, if you have a rigid organization, that is inability to experience very fast, how to adapt very fast to the changes happening around them. Some of the maybe blockers on the system, but this again need a lot of decision from the top management, like legacy systems. Some of the organizations have a legacy systems that 20 years old, 25 years old, and is not flexible enough to adapt. Changing the system is a lot of money, but this how to take this decision as a leader is very, very important as well in this to overcome the barrier for digital transformation. And now back to your point, which is the value of digital transformation for customers. There is no doubt here, Tom, that it is a great value, not only for the customers, for employees, for the individual, for all the community when they adapt to the digital transformation. So first of all, for the customer itself. For the customer, you can find from the digital transformation a lot of more digital product, a lot of more services come to the customer, which impact on more convenience for them, faster service, less price. A lot of companies now doing purchase online will be much less expensive than purchase from a store. Airlines now give you a discount if you have everything online and instead to go to the ticket shops. So it is initiating this in the online initiative was more saving to the customer and more convenient for the customer. But the biggest value for digital transformation for the company, for the customer, for employees is data. You have a massive data right nowadays with digital transformation. You have a data about everything from customer behavior, from customer historical data. Using this data will be very critical for the business to understand your customer better, know your customer well, find the real customer needs, and customize, personalize your offering. A lot of data can result on new product, new service, as I mentioned, and new personalized service to the customer. So the company will have a big value for increased revenue, more loyal customers, and the customer will get a more value for personalized services. Another thing which is maybe a little bit far, but it is very relative, which is the society itself or individuals. You can see a lot in the last couple of years with digital transformation, a lot of this 9 to 5 routine is almost dead. And now you have flexibility of workspace, working from home now, it is standard in most of the companies after COVID, and it opens a new opportunities for a lot of freelancing. So now people got a lot of training, a lot of programs, not for the company or careers, just for freelancing job. As a lot of companies now are ready to hire some people anywhere in the world, whatever the time zone, and to have a hire of a lot of individuals or cross crowd working groups to work with the company for a project. So even digital transformation have a lot of improvement in the economics of the environment itself, of the society itself. So this is a lot of benefits of value of digital transformation. That's why everyone here with us, everyone think about it, it should disturb himself. He should start learning, whatever the industry is there. Whatever he's used to be in sales, in marketing, in engineering, he needs to learn about the business. He needs to learn about digital transformation. He needs to learn about the customer needs and where the customer is going on.
Absolutely. And it's something that from what you've said here is very much about a people and mindset situation within an organization. Koshi Samuel, who's one of the guests on the webinar, has mentioned a couple of really valid points, just highlighting that it's actually very much about people and mindset. So it leads on to my next question. What's the culture needed to enable successful digital transformation? Because you've mentioned previously about the reluctance in organizational change typically that people have. And I've been a significant, I've been in businesses that have had significant challenges in key stakeholders getting used to the way businesses need to adapt and need to keep up with differing consumer needs and ever progressive business needs. So what culture is needed to make a successful digital transformation change?
It's very interesting. And I'm not sure, do you remember Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the story of the Blockbuster, it is very well known for everyone in the business. The business was #1 video and DVD rental service in the US, and it is #1, millions of dollars, hundreds or maybe thousands of stores. And when the management came to start working on digitalized streaming function, the board they no need, video will last forever, DVD will last forever, will live forever. So, and it is bankrupt after 5 years, and Netflix is #1 now. And so this is the way of mindset that you mentioned. And it is not about technology. So if you have a company, if you have the best access to the best technology in the world, and you don't have the right culture to support this, your digital transformation will not success. It will not work. And when you are talking about the culture, BCG did a study on 40 digital transformation company, and they found out companies who are focusing on digital culture during the digital transformation 5 times more successful than company don't look at the culture. So culture is the key of digital transformation. Digital transformation is not about technology. It's not about the cloud service or whatever software you are bringing or transfer from files or papers to electronic records. It is about the people who are going to use this. So people who are leading this digital transformation. And we have here a lot of points to discuss about the culture. Is all employees alignment with the culture you are building? Is your culture matching this innovation? Sometimes even some talent is not available, or some of the positions naming not available in the organization. Maybe you need to emerging new position like data scientist. You never have this position before. And now you need to have a data scientist in my organization. Also, as I mentioned before, buy-in and communication is the key. So how to have this open culture communication? Everyone to have a question to be answered, everyone to have doubt to be answered in the communication. And as we mentioned from the beginning, digital transformation is about changing the business process to provide value so to the customer, how to build customer-centric mindset culture. This is the key for any company now. Do you think all your employees are, do you think all employees are customer-centric? Do you think all employees thinking about the customer? So how to build this customer-centric approach is very, very critical. Engineering, when he's working, he should think about the customer. Driver, when he's working, he should think the customer. Marketing, sales, everyone should think about the customer. This is the new culture you need to create in digital transformation. How to make the customer is the center of your organization. And second thing, after you build this, how to make the culture that accepted risk. As a management, I'm accepting risk. You can fail fast, learn, and start again. No fear from risk, no fear from mistakes. Do mistakes, do whatever you want. It is open mistake culture that will help everyone to innovate, help everyone to start giving new ideas based on his experience. Digital transformation will never be done by digital transformation team only or product team only. Everyone in the organization should have a say in the digital transformation. This is the open culture we are talking about, Tom.
I completely agree. And having everyone in an organization, regardless of the size, buying into the overall customer value proposition, the customer journey and the customer experience, and what the customer ultimately gets out of business with your company, whether it's a consumer-led organization or not, it doesn't matter. One of the challenges that I've personally experienced working in the various businesses I've been lucky enough to be part of is those that aren't necessarily in a customer-facing role sometimes find a bit of a gap between that mindset of thinking about customer first. And you mentioned something quite interesting about the fact that every organization to grow effectively and capitalize on opportunities needs to understand or have a significant grasp on data. I find often that from a data perspective, you are so engrossed in understanding and creating a wider understanding for business change from the data, making data-led business decisions, that sometimes those in those kind of roles often have a bit of a challenge in being part of that organizational mindset where customers come first. And it's something that especially with our programs and our postgrad degrees, the MBAs in particular, we have a significant focus on. Data is a huge part of every organization, and it's something that regardless of what you do and what your role is, having a good grasp of that is obviously key, not just for career development, but also business transformation. Look, stepping away from digital transformation as just a key topic here, I want to dig a little bit deeper into your journey, because from what you mentioned at the start, you're trained as a pharmacist. That's what you started your career in. You studied your MBA, and then you've gone into marketing with, assume an MBA with marketing specialization, automotive industry, Johnson & Johnson's, MoneyGram, e-commerce, and now healthcare. how has your career been impacted since you completed your MBA, and what advice do you have for those that are considering an MBA?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. So actually, as you mentioned, I started my career as a pharmacist, and I started my career in pharmaceutical companies. And I was very passionate about marketing and digital and IT at that time, not digital. And I found the scope of work in pharmaceutical is very, very niche for this area of marketing. And I found the best way to go over is to have the business or MBA, business administration, how to study my business administration. And this has opened my eye a lot of things. Even my specialty in marketing, my assignment on my project at that time in 2004 about digital marketing in pharmaceutical industry, which is rarely to find any company working in digital marketing at that time. It was like Chinese for everyone I'm talking to. But this is how I started my MBA, and I started to learn about everything of the business. This is the key. As you remember, I just told digital transformation or talent in the organization now is not related to your profession. Whatever you are engineering, whatever you are logistic, whatever you are in supply chain, whatever you are in sales and marketing, you need to understand the business from all angles. So for myself, I'm a pharmacist. All my study are science, whatever we studied in the university, I don't remember anything from right now, but it was very niche study. When I go for MBA, I found a lot of, eye-opener for me. I learned about the management style, I learned about the strategy, I learned about the data, I learned about the marketing, strategy, economics, finance, P&L. So a lot of information came within a couple of years to learn, have a project, have a hands-on. This has changed my career a lot. So once I have my MBA, even in the middle of my MBA, I was able to change my career. It was impossible before my study to change my career. I'm a pharmacist. No one will accept me in marketing. So in the middle of, actually 2-3 months before I finished my MBA, I got my first position in marketing in automotive industry. And I keep learning as well. After that, I have 2 mini MBAs in mobile marketing and digital marketing from Roger University in US. And these 2 MBAs, I had it to learn more about digital when the digital started in 2005, 2006, to learn more about digital and start working with this. I moved to Johnson & Johnson to lead the digital transformation and digital initiatives across all the Middle East with Johnson team. It's an amazing journey in the region. After that, again, moving, and this is another benefit I felt for myself from the study, is you have a diversified experience, diversified career. You do not stick yourself to one career. As you learn everything, you just learn it a lot about everything, case studies, a lot of learning during the study. This helped me to move from FMCG in Johnson, then finance in MoneyGram, then e-commerce and retail, now in healthcare, which is very interesting journey for me as well in healthcare, back to my roots, a pharmacist, but in digital transformation. So I think it is all started with my MBA and continuous studies. Studies never stop. So I studied MBAs in digital marketing, in mobile marketing, in product management, this is Scrum. I keep studying all my life. This is the key. This is my advice to anyone. Don't stop studying, don't stop learning. Work is important. I know you spend more 12 hours, 14 hours per day in work, but don't forget yourself. Don't ignore your learning. You have to invest in yourself like you're investing in your kids or you're investing in your work. You're investing in yourself, it is your career. This is the key for everyone here.
Did you know that you wanted to go into marketing when you first studied your MBA, or was it something that you chose as a specialization when you actually got into the MBA itself and then you were given options?
No. From my beginning, I knew to go to the marketing, as it was my passion, my reading. I read a lot before I started my MBA. So I have 3-4 years working for the pharmaceutical industry. I started reading a lot. I read a lot of businesses, and I found that marketing is the most suits my personality, suits my passion, and also how to integrate digital to marketing. This was my passion from the start.
Just on that note, for anyone who's on this live, it'd be really good to hear a little bit of feedback. If you are joining this and you are considering a career transition, either between industries or between the role that you might hold in an organization, please just add it into the chat box, because it's something that is going to help us understand a little better about those that are on the webinar. But it kind of leads us on to what I want to talk about, which is focused on Upgrad itself, what we do as an organization, who we are, and I know we've been on this webinar for about half an hour and not approached the subject yet, but everything you've said about the transition since you studied your MBA to me has been fascinating. And I know that those that are considering MBAs should take these words as gospel, as far as I'm concerned. I've worked with students that never thought an MBA was within their reach. They studied their bachelor's degree and they thought the career that they're in was going to be the career for the rest of their life. When you're opened up to a lifelong learning partner, which is something that Upgrad intends to be for every student, as you've said, never stop learning. You've taken further studies. That's exactly what we want to be. We are that lifelong learning partner for students all over the world. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go into a really quick presentation just to go through a couple of little bits about us to provide a bit more context. And also, I should have mentioned this at the start, Shadi, you're actually a significant contributor to one of our programs. So you actually contribute to the product management program at Duke, is that right?
Yes.
How have you found the experience working with Upgrad from your perspective?
I met with the team. I met with the guy. I think the course will start, or the diploma will start in October, and they are planning now. And I think it is a very strong one. I discussed with the team about the structure of the 6 months is the program, product management program, which is, I think it is very interesting one. I'm happy to be part of this Upgrad and the Duke University and this program.
Wonderful. Well, look, we're super happy to have you as a contributor, and more so for the insights that you shared. If there's anything you want to add as I'm going through a couple of points about the MBAs, then please don't hesitate to ask. And guys, while we're going through this, any questions for Shadi that you picked up and would like to ask, please find them into the Q&A or the chat section. Q&A for formal questions. Well, look, I think now moving on from digital transformation as a topic, I want to explain a little bit about us, about Upgrad. As I mentioned at the start, I head up the sales and partnerships growth in the EMEA region. There are people joining the webinar and people that will see this as a recorded version from all around the world. Who is Upgrad? Okay, we are an online higher education platform providing rigorous industry relevant programs designed and delivered in collaboration, and that's a key point, in collaboration with leading faculty and universities and industry partners. Now, one of the things to mention here is we provide an unbelievably streamlined learning experience online for online delivery of education programs, higher education programs, all the way from diplomas and advanced certificates, masters, MBAs and doctorates. What I'm going to talk about is a little bit more focused on the MBA programs, but it will give you a little bit of context as what we do, why we do it, how it's different to a lot of other educators or edtech learning platforms like Upgrad, and hopefully it'll provide a bit of context as to the value that we can add for a student's journey at the very least. The core mission, very straightforward, is to make education accessible, affordable, and relevant. More often than not, you find, and especially in COVID times, that the delivery of online education is sometimes a little bit warped. If you had sat in a room with most university providers at the start of 2020 and said, how long until you can get 80 or 90% of your face-to-face taught academic programs delivered successfully and in a streamlined manner online, they would have probably said a couple of years. If you'd said to them, well, you've got 6 months to get it right because the global economy and education infrastructure is about to shut down, they would have probably left you out of the room. Now, what's happened here is the accessibility to leading education that is affordable and relevant has not quite kept up with the demand, because universities have had to slow down and they've had to readdress how they deliver education. You find gaps in that delivery model. Now, at Upgrad, we've actually streamlined the entire process. We partner with a number of universities around the world, in the UK, in India, in the US, and in Australia, and we're forever taking on more partners. The goal for us is to make sure that the accessibility to top education is there. So we've revolutionized the delivery and teaching model to solve the problems that, as I mentioned, are in quite an archaic higher education system. How is it an archaic education system? A lot of the delivery model has been unchanged for the last 20 to 30 years. Now, you would have thought with technological advancements that there would be streamlined online education delivery, but it's just not the case for every education provider. And that's where we come in to help develop and deliver industry relevant education wherever you are in the world. Now, flexibility is probably a big question for most people. If you've never studied online, which most people haven't, especially at a higher education degree, some people have studied short courses, sometimes paid for, sometimes free. Well, this is going to be a new transition for most people. Studying an MBA program or master's degree or a doctorate online is something which is relatively alien. You might be thinking, how can I make sure it fits in alongside a full-time job with a work-life balance? You know, you want to be able to take the kids to play football or soccer on a weekend. You want to be able to manage your work life without having to take time completely off out of your career just so you can study and upskill. Well, we do this in a few ways. We've taken a step back and said, what do we need and what are the problems? What do we need to do to make sure that it's accessible and manageable for someone with a full-time job? Most of our students are in full-time employment. We have a completion rate of our courses of over 85%, which if you compare that to the industry average, it's absolutely astronomical. Okay, now we do that in a couple of ways. We have a blended learning experience and delivery model of what we call asynchronous and synchronous learning. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means, asynchronous learning is the self-taught, self-paced during the week, any time of day or night, study at home via a laptop, via a desktop, via your phone on an app or a tablet or an iPad, whatever it may be. And that fits in around a full-time job and a family and that work-life balance that you need. Now, there's a lot of institutions and online delivery partners with courses that have unbelievably high dropout rates because they only stick to the asynchronous learning. Now, the problem with that is there's no interaction, there's no peer-to-peer interaction, there's no professor interaction, there's no industry expert interaction. And that's where a lot of them go wrong. That's why it's still stuck in an archaic system. How do we solve that? Well, on the weekends, we actually add a blended learning experience with professors, industry mentors like Shadi, and people who may have 10, 15, 20, 30 years experience in a particular industry. They're experts at what they do, where you're able to interact with them on live classes on a weekend. Shadi, in your experience through your MBA and through your working life, how valuable do you feel that part of a delivery model for online education is?
Yeah, actually, it's very, very valuable. And interaction with, learning is not about only reading from books, and case studies and on-hand experience is a key for your learning and building your knowledge and building your experience. Yes, how to implement, how to think, what went well, what went wrong. So having someone from any subject give you what is his experience, what he did in details, and give some case studies, some actual life examples. It's a very good value for any students, anyone who need to learn. As it is not only about books. I can put a lot of books and read it, like a lot of books in your background, but it's not about this. MBA or whatever the program you are studying it, you will never get the full value of learning unless you are interacted with one person who have expertise in this field. Maybe even interaction once per month. It's okay. You have a mentor once per month, but this is the support. I expect that every program can go for it. So that's why it gives more value to the program.
Absolutely. And just to add to that point as well, what can happen a lot with online programs, and we've solved the problem very, very well here. What can happen with online and face-to-face programs as well is that there's a bit of a gap between education and industry. And again, it goes to a relatively unchanged higher education system globally. Now, what happens if you come out with an MBA or a master's degree and you've not been taught how to implement things in the real world? You've got a lot of textbook and theory knowledge. It's predominantly that structured academic approach, which is 95% of what's taught. And what is usually missed is having people like yourself, industry mentors and professors you can interact with, to help you contextualize the theory and the conceptual academia in business, in marketing, in strategy, finance, in data science, whatever it may be, help you contextualize it so you can put it into practice in a way that's relevant to you in your industry. Now, what happens here is you've got a lot of senior execs and hiring managers that have the biggest frustration, regardless of industry. And Shadi, I'm sure you've had the same experience. Yes. I certainly have when I look to hire people, especially with MBAs. Do you just have an MBA on paper, or do you have the skills that you can implement to deliver real commercial value instantly when you join a business? You want to hit the ground running. And what happens a lot of the time is people come out with an MBA or a master's degree. They've not got that contextualization understood. They've not got the industry relevance and the applicable and applicable information there. So they spend a year or two trying to figure out how it's being able to be implemented in their real world, in their job. And that slows everything down from you hitting the ground running when you start a job or transition a career, but it's also got a massive impact and a negative knock-on effect for those that you are working for. So blending this together with the flexibility and that industry mentor and live learning support really helps bridge that gap. And it's something that we've done to unbelievably positive effects across industries with most of our students, if not all. Now, just to touch base on a couple of the programs that we have that I would like to mention about personally. And by the way, if you want to ask any questions, please do. There are going to be a couple that come through we'll deal with at the end. The Masters of Business Administration, so the MBA, Global MBA from Liverpool Business School, leading university in the UK. If you are from the UK or Europe and you're on this call, you may know the name. If not, then go and have a look at the rankings, look at the reputation this university has. It's absolutely unbelievable what they've achieved. The implementation that they have alongside Upgrad is second to none. We have a one-week immersion program if you are based from outside the UK to come and visit the university campus. Again, one-to-one mentorship from industry leaders and 6 specializations to choose from. Whether you want to focus on finance, marketing, strategy, there's a whole host of opportunity for you to get involved and look at that potential career transition. Just like Shadi, you did with focusing on a marketing specialization with your MBA, we have the opportunity here to help direct students, and it's purely based around what your overall goals are. I will say this a couple of times over the next few minutes, but if you've got any questions about what those specializations are and you would like to hear more, please do not hesitate to reach out. We will talk about it at the end of this webinar, but also please don't hesitate, get in touch. We'll give you an email address and we will reach out, but book a call with one of our admissions counselors. These guys are going to be able to help you talk to you about exactly which program is right for you, okay? And that's the most important thing. The final thing to mention, World Education Service recognized. This is a point that is relevant for all of our programs. We don't just partner with any university. We only partner with universities that have top industry and international recognition. WES recognition is something that will help if you are looking to move locations geographically, so countries. We want to make sure that whatever you learn in the degree certificate you come out with is going to add significant value, not just in finding the next job, the next step in your career, transitioning industries, but also if you are looking to change location, this is certainly going to help as well. The second is an MBA from Deakin Business School, one of the top, or within the top 1% of business schools worldwide, double accredited, and again, internationally recognized. Students from 85 plus countries in the, on average in the cohorts. Again, you learn from industry relevant, or you learn industry relevant content from the faculty and industry leaders. And a big focus of this program, again, is the specializations you're able to choose, but more importantly, the one-to-one mentorship you have from industry leaders. Having an MBA from Deakin Business School goes an unbelievably long way in terms of future prospective employers. It certainly bolsters the professional profile. And the final one, which is slightly different from an MBA, but a Doctors of Business Administration. So a doctorate from Swiss School of Business and Management. One of the things that we found is it has been very popular is those that may have a bachelor's degree and would like to go straight to obtain their doctorate. Now, what we have here is personalized thesis supervision, which is sometimes very hard to get. As you can see here, double accredited, with 6 specializations to choose from. Again, 12 specializations to choose from. Again, internationally recognized, industry relevant content. Now, what's really important to note about the Doctor of Business Administration, you have a huge amount of support when you go through your research and your thesis. It is a little bit more time consuming because naturally a doctorate's a bigger step up. However, a lot of that time that you spend, that you're taking on in your own time, the asynchronous learning, is a lot of research. Now, what you can do is tie this really closely to what you're currently doing with your current role. the current industry and projects that you're working on. So if you are looking to become a doctor of business, then please do not hesitate to reach out. For a lot of people, they skip the MBA, skip the master's programs and go straight for a doctorate. This is why we have it, but it adds a huge amount of credence and value when you look at your professional profile. Now, just to finish off with a bit of a Q&A, I think there's a couple that might have come through so far. An attendee here, what were your long-term goals when you decided to study your MBA, Shadi?
Wow, long-term goals. Okay, so you have two objectives to study. As some people, you are studied to learn, and then you can decide. As you mentioned, maybe you need to study everything, and then you need to decide where is your specialty is. Some people, a lot of people, starting the first 4 or 5 subjects of MBA, and then during his study, he will study HR, supply chain, management, marketing, data, and then decide, okay, I'm interested in this, I see myself here, so I need to continue in this. Some people have a very, very good goal. So it depends. If the person have a goal, have a passion for some area. I know a lot of people who are in the last 6-7 years that are very interested in data and AI, and they study MBA just to understand the business culture, the business decision, and they go move to computer science and studying AI, and they are expert, and they have one direction. So your end goal is mainly about your passion. It's mainly about where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years from now? Are you aiming to have a big position in a company, or you're looking to start up your business and entrepreneurship? So what is your passion, and try to learn what match your passion.
Really valuable words, and I hope that's answered the question. That's something that is not just relevant to the person who's asked the question, but I think everyone. It's very difficult to understand when you're first starting out in business. You may have graduated in the last 5 years, and you're still figuring out exactly what direction your career will go in. Well, an MBA is certainly going to help that, because as we found from Shadi and his explanation of what's happened since he studied his MBA, it's opened a hell of a lot of doors, and you're not necessarily held to a specific industry. You found really on, Shadi, that you wanted to have that marketing specialization, and that's taken you, between 5 or 6 different industries over the last 15 years.
Yes.
So just to everyone who's listening to this, it's I think that's something that you should take on board. The final point that I want to mention as well is just to reiterate lifelong learning. As I said, we want to be the lifelong learning partner. We want to be that chosen lifelong learning partner for the masses. So we have a huge array of programs, and as you've seen, it's not just MBAs and master's programs. You can also progress on to doctorates as well. Shadi, any final notes from you before we wrap up?
No, thank you much. Thank you, Tom, for having me. Thank you, everyone. And it's my pleasure being here. And I hope everyone to have something to put on the table tomorrow to start working on it. Even he will start to do one small change in wherever he's working, whatever industry, this will have an impact. Try to, for every learning you do, for every webinar, for every online course you're listening to, even to have one point to implement tomorrow. Just think about it. If I will improve my communication, I will build a strategy, I will build a plan, I will improve whatever the point. You can take one point and implement tomorrow. Learning and execution is the way to success in your life. That's all. Thank you, Tom.
Wise words from a wise man. Thank you very much. Guys, there's a couple of questions who've just come through. I don't think quite right for the topic right now, but I will make sure that someone reaches out to you with regards to your questions about MBAs. When it comes to next steps, if you are interested, we do encourage everyone to reach out to one of our admissions counselors, or at least book a call with one to have a chat, a quick 10 minutes, a bit of a fact-finding mission, what we can do to help, and we can help align you with the right program to suit your goals. The admissions process itself is very straightforward. You can go to our website, upgrad.com, reach out to us directly at globaladmissions@upgrad.com as well, and we will reach out and book a call with you. when you've gone through and spoken to an admissions counsellor, we'll be able to highlight the right program for you. We have batch start dates and cohort start dates every month or so. So there's plenty of opportunity. If you're not looking to start right now, that doesn't matter. We've always got a start date in a couple of months' time at the very latest. The process is an application form, very straightforward. We want to hear about your background. We want to know about the experiences you've had so far, and what your overall ambitions are. An application review, very straightforward. Again, we do advise that you book a call with an admissions counsellor throughout this process to make sure that we can streamline the whole admissions process for you. Reserve your place on the program by putting down a small deposit, and then it's all systems go on the education front. Guys, thank you very much. Shadi, I'm overwhelmed by the information that you've shared with digital transformation. It's always a pleasure to chat to you, and a huge wealth of knowledge shared, I feel. And there's been an unbelievably positive response on the chat. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Guys,
My pleasure being here.
Everyone joining, thank you once again. And we look forward to hopefully speaking to you soon, and at some point seeing you as a student in one of our cohorts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.